to Coach Meyer.
What's your record against Coach Meyer? I'm 2-1 versus him.
No, you're not. 10 didn't count.
It does count.
The word on the street is
Murder.
and every case has got something to say.
He said, she said.
You're trying to get me to admit something?
Killing him.
You're under arrest for murder.
Law and Order Criminal Intent, weeknights on Charge.
Your boys are old enough. Obviously, they've been watching you play.
They remember me hobbling around.
They probably say, like, yeah, you weren't that good.
I was playing 2K. He didn't put me in the game.
That's offensive.
I was like, you're not going to put your dad in the game? He's like, nah, Dad, you suck on this game.
The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Impactful news now.
About 30% of fatalities are because of alcohol-related crashes.
From nearly 4,000 local journalists across America.
Locally covered, nationally connected. The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Weeknights just got funnier with Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. On TBD, it doesn't have to be Saturday or live to see these shows. Isn't that special? Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. Weeknights on TBD.
You're watching Komo News.
Now on Komo News, a massive search underway in the Carbon River as Pierce County Sheriff's deputies say a woman and her dog fell into the water. What we know so far, a live report just ahead. Gunfire injures one man. Meanwhile, the suspect still on the run. A live report walking us through the latest details and the moments leading up to that shooting. There's one more day of madness here in Seattle, March Madness, that is. We are taking a look at the economic impacts headed for Seattle businesses. Komo News at 5 starts now. We begin with developing news out of Pierce County tonight. A massive search on the Carbon River right near the Fairfax Bridge is happening right now. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Esteban. The Pierce County Sheriff's Office says a woman and her dog fell into the Carbon River from the Fairfax Bridge south of town, south of Carbonado, where a command center is set up at the fire station along Cole Avenue. Komo's Denise Whitaker is live with more on the search and just how massive it is. Denise.
There are many, many different agencies here working with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department. Even the U.S. Coast Guard is part of this search and rescue. Now, the highway here is shut down. This is the highway that takes you to the Fairfax Bridge, and the Sheriff's Department is here making sure that nobody gets through who does not belong down there. The woman, who we now know is 28 years old, was hiking with her boyfriend and their dog, and she and the dog went off the Fairfax Bridge. Now, Carly Capetto with the Pierce County Sheriff's Department tells me that this is a very popular hiking area and that people are often on the bridge, but the Carbon River below is very dangerous. The water is really rushing fast right now, and she told me, Deputy Caponado told me that it's only 52 degrees, so they're rushing to find both the dog and the woman. Now, they were able to get drones up earlier. You can tell the wind blowing my hat. The weather is not very helpful for searchers right now, but they were able to get drones up earlier, and they spotted the dog alive. It was just a matter of trying to reach that dog. So now they're also hoping and praying that they will find this 28-year-old woman as well, now that they have found the dog. Again, weather is not great right now. What we know is that she must have fallen off the bridge right around 11:45 this morning, and it took her boyfriend a good 10 or 15 minutes before he could even get to an area where there was cell service. We've had very spotty service down here as well. So I will keep you updated on the search. Again, this is all hands on deck right now. Deputy Caponado even told me that they've got some hikers and some cyclists who were out here having a fun day, and they have quit what they were doing and they have helped in the search now, trying to find this woman. So the hope is that they find her certainly before nightfall. That 52-degree water, the rocks, the steep incline, and everything around it is just dangerous for everyone, including rescuers, which, as a matter of fact, they were not even able to get the swift water team into the water because it was just too dangerous. I'll keep you updated on this as I get more details. Michelle, I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, what an enormous and emotional task. All right, thank you, Denise. A suspect remains on the run after a shooting in Seattle's Cherry Hill neighborhood that left a man seriously injured. It happened Saturday right around 4 in the morning here in the 2200 block of East Madison Street. That's near the Safeway store. Komo's Karina Vargas joins us live with details and a closer look at crime in that area. Karina?
Now, Michelle, that area hasn't seen a lot of gun violence. That's according to data, and that's why some residents nearby say that they were in shock to hear hearing about a shooting that happened so close to their home. Now, Seattle police say that there was an altercation between the victim and a group of people right before the shooting. When officers responded, they found the 44-year-old man with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. Police add that they did provide life-saving efforts until the fire department arrived, and then the victim was taken to Harborview Medical Center. Now, at last check, he was in serious but stable condition, but this shooting has raised concerns from residents who say that this area is typically very safe.
I personally haven't been around shootings in this specific area, but I guess my initial reaction is I'm not too surprised just because I do hear of shootings a little farther out.
Now, we took a look at SPD crime data in the Cherry Hill neighborhood. In all of 2024, there was only one shooting, and this recent incident would be at least 2 shootings this year so far. Investigators haven't released a motive other than that argument that broke out before gunshots rang out. But police say that the suspect did flee the scene after the shooting, and no arrests have been made. But they are asking for the public's help, that if you saw or heard anything, to contact them right away. For now, reporting live in Seattle, Karina Vargas, Komo News.
Karina, thank you. Take a live look out of the city of Seattle on this Sunday evening. Saturday's sun certainly gave way to Sunday's rain. Meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell is in for Stella. And Shan, feels like typical spring weather.
It does. It is just dumping out there. The steady rain coming down right over climate pledges we saw. We were just saying how everybody in town for March Madness must be thinking, yep, this is the Seattle we've seen on TV. It's definitely living up to that soggy reputation. But unfortunately, it's pouring up over the high country as well. And look at the difference today at White Pass there at High Camp, where yesterday the evergreens in the background were flocked in all of that heavy, fresh snow. It has been washed clean today. The snow is also washing away from the rooftop up there because today it is heavy rain instead. So that leads to other problems, namely avalanche danger. It is sky high. We have a avalanche warning in place there put out by the Northwest Avalanche Center. They are warning of the potential for dangerous large snow slides over the Cascades because of the instability in the snowpack. And you can see that heavy rain pouring in, not just in the low terrain, but also in the high country. Zooming in for a closer look there between Stevens and Snoqualmie passes. It is all heavy rain there, falling all the way up to nearly 7,000 feet. That is sky high. This is some warm rain, unfortunately. So in the meantime, down below, we're still looking at some really soggy conditions for walking around Seattle Center or just trying to commute around the region this afternoon as well. Temps staying in the 50s with steady rain for the next several hours, but we are still looking ahead toward a big warm-up as we head into early next week, Michelle. We'll talk about that ahead in my next forecast.
All right, all that rain's going to bring on some flower power. Shannon, thank you. March Madness is in full swing, taking you outside for a live look at Climate Pledge Arena. Kind of hard to see, right? A little rainy out there, kind of pea soupy. They wrapped up round 1 yesterday. We saw the Zags fall in a heartbreaking fashion to the #1 seed in the Midwest. That was Houston. Right now, round 2 underway as Maryland and Colorado State battle it out. In just 1 hour's time, it is a former Pac-12 rivalry. Oregon and Arizona playing here in Seattle. This is the first time in a decade the men's big dance has been to Seattle, and it has garnered a lot of excitement and hopefully money for local businesses. We've got Komo's Joel Marino on what the tournament means for the local economy.
For every bucket that drops and fast break to the hoop, local businesses could see more revenue and exposure from Seattle being a host city for the NCAA men's tournament.
One really, I think, terrific aspect of the group that we've got coming here to Seattle is we've got passionate fan bases, sure, but we also have big brands and big brands that travel.
More than 18,000 people are expected to attend these early round games. Visit Seattle estimates an economic impact of $13.6 million in additional revenues.
It's going to be an exciting couple days at Seattle Center and really at all of downtown. All of downtown should feel some impact from this happening.
The Seattle Sports Commission secured the bid to bring the tournament to town, and it means more cash for hotels, restaurants, and other attractions around the city.
The fact that we have this compact downtown footprint is unique. People can easily walk from a sports venue to shopping, to the waterfront, all these activities.
The hoops hysteria could have other impacts in terms of Seattle's profile and prestige across the nation, if television coverage includes scenic vistas of the city when coming back from commercial breaks.
Every time we host one of these events, it really creates an opportunity for our reputation to build and grow.
And then there's the unique energy behind the tournament itself, which is synonymous with the upset and the Cinderella story.
And that Cinderella story could be authored in downtown Seattle.
Joel Marino, Komo News.
A little bit of pressure here. Here's why. Tournament organizers say whether this event boosts Seattle's national appeal and secures other signature sporting events in the future really does hinge on the fan experience over the next few days. Next, tech giant Microsoft turning 50 years old. Coming up, we're going to hear from the company's president about the global impact of the local company and what's still in store. That story and much more. You're watching Komo News at 5.
The word on the street is
Murder.
Murder.
And every case has got something to say.
He said, she said.
You trying to get me to admit something?
Killing him.
You're under arrest for murder.
Law and Order Criminal Intent, weeknights on Charge.
Scott Cochran, the new head coach at West Alabama.
All I want to do is talk a little trash to Coach Meyer.
What's your record against Coach Meyer? I'm 2-1 versus him.
No, you're not. 10 didn't count.
It does count.
Your boys are old enough. Obviously, they've been watching you play.
They remember me hobbling around.
They probably say, like, yeah, you weren't that good.
I was playing 2K. He didn't put me in the game.
That's offensive.
I was like, you're not going to put your dad in the game? He's like, nah, Dad, you suck on this game.
Locally covered, nationally connected. The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Weeknights just got funnier with Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. On TBD, it doesn't have to be Saturday or live to see these shows. Isn't that special? Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. Weeknights on TBD.
To turn 50 years old. 5 decades later, it is the third most valuable company in the world. And with that comes perspective. Microsoft President Brad Smith sat down with senior reporter Chris Daniels.
It's important to have an open dialogue.
Microsoft President Brad Smith, an employee since 1993, has also doubled as the company's chief diplomat.
Many of the big tech CEOs and leaders stood behind President Trump during his inauguration. No Satya, no Brad Smith. Was that a conscious decision?
It was actually just, we had scheduled time to be in Europe. We've definitely made it a priority with this administration, as we do with every administration, you know, to lean in, to get to know people from the president on down. Satya and I and others, we went to Florida, had lunch with the president and vice president.
Yet it comes at a moment when the company has invested tens of billions of dollars on artificial intelligence and seemingly stands at odds with multiple Trump policies. You go to the front page of the Microsoft website, and as far as DEI initiatives, it says, we believe in the transformative power of engaging many different perspectives. Has anything changed?
We look for talent everywhere because that's where you find it. And that does, by definition, lead to more diverse talent.
Do you have any concern about the trade discussion?
We're spending $80 billion this year to grow AI and data center infrastructure, more than half of it in the United States. But we need to be in Canada, and we are, and we're very committed to the success of, say, our Canadian customers and the Canadian nation.
You were very involved in protecting DACA. Any plans during this administration to again weigh on issues like birthright citizenship?
What we weigh in on are issues that affect our employees. We haven't yet gotten to a stage where that has led to new, say, immigration discussions or debates.
So what's the next 50 years look like for Microsoft?
I think Microsoft needs to remain at the forefront of AI innovation, and we're committed to doing that. I think we want and need to be a force for good.
Chris Daniels, Komo News.
If you want to see the nearly 30-minute interview, scan the QR code that you see on your screen. It will take you directly to Chris's story on our website, komonews.com. Outside we go. Let's take a live look at the city of Seattle. What a mixed bag this weekend has been. I gotta say, though, really something for everybody. Sunshine and liquid sunshine, and something to look forward to. All right, Shannon, we got to get through today and tomorrow, but you've been talking about better stuff is coming.
Yep, a big warm-up, a real short-lived but intense peak of warmth as we head into the next 48 hours. Hard to believe it when you look outside today, right, Michelle? It's so soggy. Right on schedule, we told you that one half of the weekend would be much more damp for trying to get outdoors than the other. That day, of course, was Sunday, and it is behind me, and it continues to go off over the Emerald City downtown right now. It's also raining like crazy over the Skagit Valley, but look at the beautiful reflection in the puddles there of the daffodils, all lined up courtesy of PNW Bolton Photography. As we head into the next 24 hours, we're still very concerned about avalanche danger. We talked about that because of the heavy rain rather than snow falling in the Cascades right now, resulting in that unstable snowpack. A nice warm-up, however, around the corner. Not yet today. We've got a very blurry view of downtown Seattle. We're talking about all of the fans in town for March Madness and how this is probably very much living up to their soggy idea of what Seattle would be like in March. 54 right now, falling barometric pressure, a sign that there's still a lot of this storm left to go. You can see the heavy rain flowing in from the coast. Some heavy showers there just getting wrung out over the slopes of the Olympics, as is often the case there in our temperate rainforest. And then up over the Cascades, unfortunately, it's heavy rain rather than snow up in the high country too. Snow level today above 7,000 feet, and that makes that snowpack so unstable. Look at the little pocket of blue. That's the snow still falling at Mount Rainier, but just at the summit, all the way down the hill and towards sea level, the I-5 corridor, we've got heavy rain all the way down to Portland today. 50s for highs for us. Here's the problem, though. Stampede Pass at 42, so that's a sign of that warmth. Today's disturbance, the current weather maker, replaced by Monday's transition afternoon. We'll see fewer showers and more sun breaks tomorrow, so we'll call it trying for drying. And then we do finally get there with that peak of warmth on Tuesday. Nice little hole making itself all carved out beautifully over the cloud cover, and that hole in the clouds will give us a high temperature range of 65 to 70 degrees over the metro area, putting us into some record territory for one whole afternoon. Meanwhile, overnight tonight, the steady rain breaks apart into scattered showers with lows on either side of 50. We head into tomorrow with fewer showers, more sun breaks, and highs closer to 60 in Issaquah, Kent, and Maple Valley. Still quite a bit of rain in the north end, as you saw in the model data there for Anacortes, for Port Angeles, and for Friday Harbor, but we're trying to break through the clouds there in Ocean Shores with low 50s for highs. And here comes the warmth in eastern Washington. We're talking 75 tomorrow. Here is a big warm up there for Pasco and Kennewick. Eventually Actually, it's on our own doorstep, too, with Tuesday seeing highs close to 70. Michelle, that will be warm enough for record highs for one afternoon.
Oh, wow.
On the 25th of March. Falls apart on Wednesday and in kind of a violent fashion, too. Chance for thunder and lightning for Puget Sound and for the Willamette Valley on Wednesday.
So if it's a record high, how much above normal is that?
Well, average
roughly?
highs are mid-50s, so we're talking about 15 degrees above the curve.
Incredible. We will take it. Thank you.
You bet.
I feel even better about that. The Mariners move on from Mitch Haniger. Have you heard this? Niego's in next to tell us why and what's next for the team. Stay with us.
$1,000 pyramid, you never.
Scott Cochran, the new head coach at West Alabama.
All I want to do is talk a little trash to Coach Meyer.
What's your record against Coach Meyer? I'm 2-1 versus him.
No, you're not. 10 didn't count.
It does count.
Weeknights on Charge. The word on the street is
Murder.
Murder.
And every case has got something to say.
Anything else?
Oh, there's a lot.
Blunt force wound.
Blood spatter here.
Stab wounds. Dead.
So what killed him?
Do not disturb the crime scene.
Did we mention we're investigating a murder?
Tell us what you did.
He said, she said.
You trying to get me to admit something? Killing him.
You're under arrest for murder.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. Weeknights starting at 9/8 Central on Charge.
Your boys are old enough. Obviously, they've been watching you play.
They remember me hobbling around.
They probably say, like, yeah, you weren't that good.
I was playing 2K. He didn't put me in the game.
That's offensive.
I was like, you're not going to put your dad in the game? He's like, nah, Dad, you suck on this game.
Weeknights just got a whole lot funnier. With Whose Line Is It Anyway? The show where everything's made up and only the laughs matter. Followed by Saturday Night Live. On TBD, it doesn't have to be Saturday or live to see this show. Isn't that special? Two comedy powerhouses, back to back. But you don't have to thank us. On TBD, laughter is always on the schedule. Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Saturday Night Live. Weeknights, only on TBD.
The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Impactful news now.
About 30% of fatalities are because of alcohol-related crashes.
From nearly 4,000 local journalists across America.
Locally covered, nationally connected. The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Now, the Komo Sports Desk with Nico Tamurian, presented by Xfinity.
Baseball is in the air. Take a look outside. You'll think I'm crazy, right? But we're talking about sports. And we're talking about the Mariners ready to start fresh in 2025, having the fans out today for their opening week warm-up. And with that weather Shannon told us about, look at that line. Just to see the warm-up, that's the best fan base in baseball. Certainly, you can round the bases like the players do. Like this little one did something we're hoping to see a lot more runs to help out that outstanding pitching staff. Now, Mariners legend Jay Buhner tells me what he's looking for in this new season.
I got high hopes for them. I mean, with that pitching staff, you know they're going to be in every single game, and you know it's going to be meaningful baseball in September, and that's all you could ever ask for from a fan standpoint and for the players. Is just give yourself a chance, after that, trade deadline. And hopefully you help yourself out and give you that little adrenaline rush, that extra boost, and then get into September and anything can happen, man.
Well, Jay would know from 1995, am I right? Meanwhile, the Mariners did clear a roster spot, but it's a tough decision to do so. Releasing mainstay Mitch Haniger, his legacy certainly will be that 2021 season you're looking at clips at from right now. He willed the M's to within just a couple games of the playoffs, and of course he was a starter on the team that did end the drought the next season. He can keep playing, he's a free agent, but that 6-season tenure in Seattle is now over. Thanks for everything, Mitch Haniger. Of course, March Madness continues in Seattle. Colorado State, look at this. They're trying for another upset. Can they get to the Sweet 16 as a 12 seed? They lead Maryland at the break from Climate Pledge Arena. And the final game of the first weekend, of course, is right here in Seattle Center. Oregon and Arizona. We'll update you on both games tonight on Komo News at 11. We'll be right back.
Communication and
Locally covered, nationally connected. The National News Desk is America's News now.
Scott Cochran, the new head coach at West Alabama.
All I want to do is talk a little trash to Coach Meyer.
What's your record against Coach Meyer? I'm 2-1 versus him.
No, you're not. 10 didn't count.
It does count.
Your boys are old enough. Obviously, they've been watching you play.
They remember me hobbling around.
They probably say, like, you weren't that good.
I was playing 2K. He didn't put me in the game.
That's offensive.
I was like, you're not going to put your dad in the game? He's like, nah, Dad, you suck on this game.
The word on the street is
Murder.
Murder. And every case has got something to say.
He said, she said. You're trying to get me to admit something? Killing him. You're under arrest for murder.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. Weeknights on Charge.
Weeknights just got a whole lot funnier. With Whose Line Is It Anyway? The show where everything's made up and only the laughs matter. Followed by Saturday Night Live. On TBD, it doesn't have to be Saturday or live to see this show. Isn't that special? Two comedy powerhouses back to back. But you don't have to thank us. On TBD, laughter is always on the schedule. Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Saturday Night Live. Weeknights, only on TBD.
Conan O'Brien being officially recognized as one of the world's greatest comedians with the coveted Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. Congrats. The John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts says it is honoring O'Brien for his 4 decades working in comedy, including stints as a writer for Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons, and his years as a late-night talk show host. The program will premiere exclusively on Netflix, but a release date has not yet been announced. I think someone needs to give him an award for that hair. He's got the best hair.
Great hair.
Its own zip code. That's how good it is. All right, so yesterday, sunny.
Yep.
Today, not so much.
Yep, today was that real SOG fest of the second half of the weekend we promised you. So hopefully if you had outdoor plans and you were flexible, you were able to plan around it, because today is kind of a nice indoor, good day for Netflix, actually, sort of afternoon. We are talking about tomorrow being the transition day. We start to break apart the cloud cover, see fewer showers, more sun breaks out there. Tuesday still going to shoot for nearly 70. Michelle and Nico, that will be warm enough for a record high if we get there. Thunderstorms by Wednesday and some showers for opening day for the M's.
I can see it now. The shades, the shorts, the T-shirts. Yeah, people. Everyone's going to be on a blanket around Green Lake. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Much more coming up on Komo News at 6. We always appreciate you joining us. Good night.
Vita Mahjong.
Vita Mahjong.
Vita Mahjong.
Vita Mahjong is the world's first mahjong game specially designed for seniors.
Large tiles, big font, easy on the eyes. No annoying ads. No Wi-Fi needed. Over 20 million players worldwide play Vita Mahjong to train their brain and relieve their stress.
Scott Cochran, the new head coach at West Alabama.
All I want to do is talk a little trash to Coach Meyer.
What's your record against Coach Meyer? I'm 2-1 versus him.
No, you're not. 10 didn't count.
It does count.
Weeknights on Charge. The word on the street is
Murder.
Murder.
And every case has got something to say.
Anything else?
Oh, there's a lot.
Blunt force wound.
Blood spatter here. Stab wounds. Dead. So what killed him?
Do not disturb the crime scene.
Did we mention we're investigating a murder?
Tell us what you did.
He said, she said.
You trying to get me to admit something? Killing him.
You're under arrest for murder.
Law and Order Criminal Intent. Weeknights starting at 9/8 Central on Charge.
Weeknights just got funnier with Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. On TBD, it doesn't have to be Saturday or live to see these shows. Isn't that special? Whose Line Is It Anyway and Saturday Night Live. Weeknights on TBD.
The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Impactful news now.
About 30% of fatalities are because of alcohol-related crashes.
From nearly 4,000 local journalists across America.
Locally covered, nationally connected. The National News Desk is America's News Now.
Your boys are old enough. Obviously, they've been watching you play.
They remember me hobbling around.
They probably say like, "Yeah, you weren't that good."
I was playing 2K. He didn't put me in the game.
That's offensive.
I was like, "You're not gonna put your dad in the game?" He's like, "Nah, Dad, you suck on this game."
watching Komo News.
And we're glad you are. Now at 6, we are live in Pierce County as crews frantically search for a woman swept away in the Carbon River. A live report just ahead. Plus,
well, hi there, everybody. It's pouring again over downtown Seattle, but it's also pouring over the Cascades. We'll talk about the high avalanche danger in the high country ahead in my forecast.
Plus, the suspect on the run after a shooting in one Seattle neighborhood leaves a man in serious condition. The very latest on that investigation and what we're learning new about crime in that area. Komo News at 6 starts now. It is a true race against the clock in Pierce County with law enforcement right now and volunteer search and rescue teams. They are working together to find a 28-year-old woman. She and her dog fell from the Fairfax Bridge over the Carbon River just about 3 miles south of the town of Carbonado. That is where Komo's Denise Whitaker is live along State Route 165 for us. She's been there for the last hour. Let's get to Denise for the very latest. Denise.
Well, we are experiencing typical Pacific Northwest weather here, Michelle. It is very windy. It is very wet. And while some people, including this woman, her boyfriend, and their dog, wanted to get out in it, it is now making conditions impossible for some of the rescue and search crews to actually do their jobs. The Sheriff's Department has the road shut off here so that nobody can go down 165. It is closed to drivers while search and rescue operations are happening along the Carbon River. Deputy Carly Capetto tells me it's 52 degrees in the water today. She said the river is raging right now from all of the melting runoff from the surrounding mountains. It's so dangerous the Swiftwater team could not put their boat in the water. They did get a short window to get 2 drones up, however, this afternoon.
Drone had located her dog alive about 2 miles down the river. So right now we're just trying to get resources down that river, obviously to get the dog and in hopes to locate her as well. But for every minute that's passing by, it's not being helpful for us.
It's now been more than 6 hours since the woman and her dog fell. Deputy Capetto tells me that her boyfriend had to travel about 10 or 15 minutes to even be able to reach cell service to call 911. The Fairfax Bridge is almost 500 feet long. It is high above a steep canyon that the Carbon River winds through. Deputy Capetto tells me they've got ropes teams from several different departments, plus the Coast Guard. But again, with the wind and the weather that they've been experiencing this afternoon, they've not been able to get up into the air other than those drones. She said they've had Smokey, the Sheriff's Department plane, on standby, but she wasn't sure they were going to be able to get anyone up. Now, I'm hearing reports that perhaps searchers have been able to reach that dog again by the drone image they saw of the dog. They knew that it had survived at that point, but we're still waiting to see and hear whether or not they've been able to find anything at all that shows the woman is still there, is still somewhere. And of course, with that river raging, the dog was spotted downriver from where the fall happened. So this is a very difficult but very serious rescue that Deputy Capetto tells me they're going to just keep working on it and going as hard as they can, trying to find this woman, 28 years old. They've even got some hikers and cyclists who were in the woods enjoying the day themselves, have now joined the search. Michelle.
Denise, thank you. A shooting in Seattle's Cherry Hill neighborhood has left a 44-year-old man seriously injured, and tonight the suspect still on the run. Seattle police say it happened Saturday around 4 in the morning in the 2200 block of East Madison Street. Police say an altercation broke out before the shooting. Komo's Karina Vargas has the very latest, plus a closer look at crime in that area.
Along East Madison Street in Cherry Hill, gunshots rang out, causing concerns from residents about a shooting happening so close to their homes.
I'm actually a little surprised that there was a shooting in this area because I generally feel pretty safe. I haven't heard of gun violence kind of in the immediate.
Seattle police say witnesses reported an altercation between the 44-year-old victim and a group of people before the shooting.
It's tragic. I mean, and I feel like it's a safe neighborhood. I walk around at night all the time, but you know, we are hearing more and more that there are, you know, shootings and some unrest going on.
Seattle police say they found the victim with a gunshot wound to his shoulder. Officers provided life-saving efforts until the fire department arrived and took him to Harborview Medical Center. At last check, he was in serious but stable condition. Some residents say they've never felt unsafe in the area.
I personally haven't been around shootings in this specific area, but I guess my initial reaction is I'm not too surprised just because I do hear of shootings a little farther out.
We took a look at SPD crime data in the Cherry Hill neighborhood. In all of 2024, there was only one shooting. This recent incident would be at least 2 shootings this year so far. Residents say they're remaining vigilant for anything suspicious.
Makes me want to travel with, better protection, come in at night, sooner when the light's out.
Police say a suspect fled the scene after the shooting. No arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. In Seattle, Karina Vargas, Komo News.
Karina, thank you. We're also learning more about last night's fiery crash. This was it in Auburn. It happened right near Weyerhaeuser Way and Peasley Canyon Road. It was around 7:30 last night. State Patrol says 3 cars were involved in this crash. They also posted these photographs. Let me show you to the damage of the cars once that fire was out. And you can actually see those 3 vehicles burned pretty badly here. Likely they are all totaled. The vehicles have been cleared from the roadway. Troopers say they were told several people were injured, but not badly. And we know one of the drivers is actually in custody for suspicion of DUI. State Patrol says the driver of this car is in custody after they led troopers on a chase early this morning. Happened right in the northbound lanes of I-5, right at the Pierce-King County line. They were finally able to stop the car almost 20 miles later near Seattle by using spike strips. Patrol says the driver is being held on investigation of felony eluding as well as DUI. We want to shift focus now on our mountain passes. Let's go outside. Right now, there is an avalanche warning for the Cascades. So talking to everybody who loves the backcountry, the snow level